I'm just going to say it. I think some people need to be in therapy instead of being on social media. I'm just going to say it because I have seen a lot of hurt people say a lot of stuff. And I'm just like, this is a great discussion to have with your therapist.
Welcome to the Femme Fit Entrepreneurs Podcast. We're your hosts, Aurelia Michael Holmgren and Brit. Here we talk all things health, wealth, womanhood, and of course, ownership. So sit back or stand up straight on that treadmill and enjoy today's episode. What's up, everyone? So before we even jump into it, if you are not watching this on YouTube, I guess I'll have to explain it to you, or you can get on there, but we are stepping it up every week. We're giving backgrounds, we're giving microphones, we're giving headphones, we're giving studio recording quality, StreamYard, shout out to them. So I'm proud of us because if you watched my episode, you know I talked about it's not about getting it perfect, it's about getting it started. And so we're going to continue to evolve, and I hope y'all continue the journey with us, and I hope that inspires you to get started on whatever you're doing so that you can keep improving as time goes on. If you don't know who we are, what's up? My name is Aurelia. This is my girl, Brit, and we are the hosts of the Femme Fit Entrepreneurs Podcast, where we talk all things health, wealth, womanhood, and of course, ownership. And today we are talking about social media and your romantic relationships. Is social media ruining your relationship or vice versa? But before we do that, Brit, what's the weekly tea? How's prep going? What's going on in life? Really the last 2 weeks, because we haven't talked as much. So I'm going to be learning stuff as everyone else is.
Yes. Listen, these last 2 weeks took me out. You hear me? Whatever is going around right now, I caught it bad twice. And the first time I was sick and I had to hurry and get better because I was going on a bestie trip to celebrate one of my besties' 40th birthdays in Palm Springs. And I was like, okay, I got to get better for this trip. This is like my last hoorah trip before prep starts because we started prep February. And girl, I came back from that trip and got so sick. And not only was I sick right after that trip, but that week I had to hurry and feel better because my niece got married on Friday. And it was a whole thing with this whole dress. So this dress put me through it, okay?
You better wear that dress somewhere else. It has to be worn at least twice. Because
listen, I might just go to a brunch with the dress. I might just pull up to a brunch, a date somewhere with this dress on.
Go wash your car. Just
grocery shopping. Listen, let me tell y'all something. A little tidbit. If you ever get something hemmed, make sure they do not cut out the care tag when they hem your dress, because y'all know I'm really petite. So they had to hem this dress up and I couldn't get it steamed at any cleaners because they cut the care tag out. So I'm sitting here last minute overnight in the steamer. It was a whole thing. But it was a beautiful wedding. I got to celebrate their love.
You did the makeup?
I did yes, I was on makeup duty. So did the makeup, the whole bit. So it was an amazing weekend, but I'm so glad to be back and in it.
I love that.
Yes.
And how's the body feeling now?
Girl, we're finally back. Okay. Whatever I had, the fatigue was just unreal. Like, not even like, normally I'm pretty good pushing through. We push through all the stuff, right?
Of course.
Girl, this was like, you ain't gonna push through nothing but get on this couch, okay? With your dog, you're gonna go to sleep. So like my energy levels were so tanked. The only thing I could do was just stick to the diet. Like, right? Like you got to control the things you can at that point. So that's what I did. Talk to coach, but the body girl was bodying. Even still, it was like, okay, listen, you going through, but we in prep now. She's
okay,
up,
but that goes back to what you said before.
Shifting.
It's like what you do before. That's why moments like this matter.
Yes,
you've already trained 100%. The body enough that it can handle it. And if y'all don't know, if y'all could watch Brit's training videos and be like, oh, she's doing it for the gram. No, baby. I saw her do a leg day. Them Bulgarian split squats are nothing to mess with, okay? You think the guys be making noise? At least she's got reason, okay? Sweating, sweat dripping all over her body, okay? She goes hard.
Floor,
so
need a mop.
So for those that'll be like, oh, she could have just went to the gym and did something cute. No, we don't do that.
We don't train cute. We definitely do not. Yes, it's all or nothing.
We look cute. Girl. but we
That
don't
part.
train cute. There's
Not
a
at all.
difference.
Yes.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yes. So
Well,
I'm
I'm
gonna
so
be
glad
full
you're feeling
swing.
better.
Me too,
I'm
girl.
ex-
I just miss feeling like myself again. So we're back.
I know, because me too. I'd be like, let me make sure it's not me. Everything okay? You like, girl, so I could barely keep my eyes open. It ain't got nothing to do with you. I'm like, okay, I know I can't do anything from this far away, but just let me know. I
Yeah.
love it.
And everyone was so sweet. So thank you so much, for being
Oh yeah,
there
you got a
and just
lot of
meeting you.
love.
I
Of
definitely
course,
did. I'm so
boo.
blessed. Yes. So
So
catch us up. What's been going on?
well, I am officially 13.5 weeks out. And I am tired. My body is tired. We are now doing 40 minutes of cardio every morning, 40 minutes of cardio every afternoon, 6 days a week. So yesterday I got me a massage. His name is Matthew. My last name is Michael. His name is Matthew. And I go to Matthew once a month, but I was 2 weeks late. And he made me pay for that. And it already feels like I did back day. And I have back day later on today. He tore my calves up. I had to tap out. I had to tell him, chill, because my body is just already at that place. But at the same time, this so far, knock on this wood right here, has been the easiest prep I've had thus far. And it goes to show what those 13 months of being off season and really focusing and sticking to the diet and doing what I'm supposed to be doing. So because I know what my body looked like before when I had like 3-4 months off of real training, I know there's going to be something fire underneath. So that's what's keeping me going, especially when I'm going to events. I've had some auditions, I've had some callbacks. I'm just making sure that I am doing everything in my power. Like you said, control what you can control. I can't control who shows up to the competition stage when we get there. I can't control, what may happen in peak week, but I can control what's happening right now. And so that's what I've been doing. And the thing that's been helping me the most, especially on the Stairmaster, because I live on that thing, is reading. I've been reading a new book called Outlive. And I don't know, I was like, maybe I'm supposed to be a medical student, or maybe I just watched too much Grey's Anatomy, because it is just talking about the 4 major types of diseases that get most people as they get older, and what we can do, like what we always talk about, what we can control. There are certain things we can't, certain things we can. And then, Love is Blind is out. So tomorrow I will definitely be checking out the continuing episodes. No spoilers here. I don't want to spoil for anybody that hasn't watched it yet, but drop your comments, your thoughts, who you feeling, who you not, who's clout chasing, who should have thought of a full wig before they got on the show. All those kind of questions that we have. I'm not trying to be shady. I pull up with a different girl every day, but look at her. She's cute. She even has a little part right there.
She's cute. She's laid. She's cute.
I got her. We got her. For those that don't know, when we met in Dallas, my husband's a photographer, but he is not a magician. And my bang was doing a flip, but he somehow curled it with his editing. So shout out to Adam, shout out to Bay. But I have my flat iron now, so we're good. So yeah, I'm feeling really good. I'm going hard, and I'm happy to have you back. I feel like as long as it's been since they've talked to both of us is how I feel. So I'm always excited for the top of the week for us to get back into our flow.
Same. And I can't wait for us to compete together. Like, we are now 2 weeks apart. So you're 14 weeks. I'm 16 weeks. So I'm lit because I picked up my show date. Yeah, that was the update from the last show. Yeah, so I picked up my show date too. So we right there, boo. We in it.
Look, don't be surprised if I show up. I know.
Okay.
She gonna tell me.
Listen,
okay,
y'all ever had that one friend?
What do they say? We'll talk offline. That's what the corporates say.
We'll talk offline about this. We'll continue this later.
Table this.
We'll have a sidebar. Yeah, we'll circle back. That's another one. We'll circle back. But Aurelia, she's that friend who is so hard-headed, and I love her so much. She will show up no matter what she is going through to you, to support you, to celebrate you. And I have told this girl, listen, we are both going to be so thick in prep. I will see you when we go to nationals. I'm telling you again, I will see you at nationals. Okay. All right.
Fine.
I said,
you see this face too? Our faces are starting to face. Okay.
Don't even need contour.
Okay. I'm giving Janet Jackson. Okay.
Yes,
Shall we
yes.
dive in?
Let's get into this because, oh man, social media and relationships.
I brought
I
my
have
mug.
been, we're going to need it for this episode.
Hmm.
I have been on both ends of this spectrum before. Like, and I don't, I kind of now know where I stand, but I've been on the side where I felt slighted because the person that I was with wasn't sharing me online, right?
Hmm.
And then I also have been on the other end where the person that I was with didn't feel like I was talking about them enough online. So it definitely is a balancing act. And I feel like there's so many variables that go into play, right? Um, but I think when it comes down to it, it comes down to having to share it in a way that is authentic to y'all. Because I think we all see those couples, right? No knock on anybody. And I love love. Love is great.
Hmm.
This is love month right now. But we've seen the couples where it's just like every single post. I love my man. I love my boo. Woo, woo, woo. And that's great. That's fantastic that you found your person, you found your rock, right? But some of it becomes, okay, are you doing this because this is truly how you feel about this person, or because you feel like this is how you have to display to validate your
Yep.
love to other people? Like that's when I kind of started getting in that. Now, granted, don't grant. I understand that there are content creators out there. Their brand is family, so of course they're going to
They
be
making that
talking about their
money.
significant. Exactly, yeah. They're a brand. Like companies are working with them because they're a wife, they're a husband, whatever.
Hmm.
We ain't talking about them right now. Okay. We're talking about the people who every aspect of what's going on in their relationship based on their Instagram stories and posts, right? That's where I kind of start feeling like, is this really for y'all? Is this for everyone else? Like, who is this kind of really for?
Right. Yeah. And I definitely get myself caught up in that, seeing there are some couples I know they're doing it like that's part of their brand, that's part of their thing. So there's no
Yeah.
judgment there by any means. But I know, especially when we got married, I started to feel that pressure of like, do I need to be posting that much now? Like, do I need to change my name? So for those that don't know, I hyphenated my name because no one really in my family had kids. I'm technically the youngest Michael left. My dad is the youngest male Michael left. And so it was important to me to try to keep that name, even if it's my future kid's middle name, first name, whatever, going as long as possible. But legally, I have not changed it on everything. It's changed on like Amazon. So all of a sudden I was like, do I need to do this? Is it so that people can see it? Do I need to put him in my bio? Do I need to pin our picture to the top? Do I need to have a highlight? And these are questions you should ask yourself. But I think I was asking because I was comparing to other marriages that I don't even know. You have no idea what's going on in somebody's marriage.
Mhm.
And a lot of times, and I've been guilty of this, when people are posting the most lovey-dovey thing, sometimes it's because somebody messed up.
Oh, that
And
part.
maybe they just made up, or they're trying to get back in. But I have been that one that has definitely put up something sweet, and he's on the other side of the bed looking away from me. He wants pepper in between us. He wants nothing to do with me. So I think sometimes, especially in marriage, you can start to feel this pressure of how is a wife supposed to show up on social media? Even that with like, how am I supposed to dress now that I'm a wife on social media? How do I show up places and maybe take pictures in a certain way? And you can start to really get caught up. That's why I stay off that explore page, because that will have me set up and trying to compare and compete with other people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think too, right? Like when it comes to sharing in a way that makes it authentic to you, when I have decided to do it, it was purely because I'm like, okay, I actually want to talk about this person.
Right.
Um, on the flip side of that, though, I have also learned that when you do share your significant other, it opens the door. You're opening the door for people to, okay, come into a more personal side of your life. And like, you know what I mean? Like you can be on social media and be personable, but you don't have to be personal. And it opens the door to a real personal side of you. So when the person that I was the most, probably to date, the most vocal about sharing my relationship status with, um, when we didn't work out, it opened the door for people to be asking me when they found out we split, well, what happened? Are you okay? Are you this? Are you that?
They
And
thought
I
you was
felt like,
bestie.
yeah. And I'm like, wow. I'm like, hold on, wait. I don't, why are you in my business? But I'm like, okay, Brit, well, listen, you made it their business when you start talking about, not to say that I share every detail of our relationship,
Yeah,
of
yeah,
course,
yeah.
but once you position yourself of, oh, we're this, fit couple, power couple, whatever, however you want to phrase, brand yourself online,
Mm-hmm.
right? You also open the door. So you got to be ready and willing to understand that, especially if you have a larger account, that's going to be part of it, which you have to kind of deal with too. So
Right.
that is also in the back of my head now, where I've become very private, to where it's going to take quite a bit for me to want to really share someone in my life in that way, for that reason alone.
And I don't blame you. I mean, yeah, every action has a consequence, be good or
Oh yeah.
bad. So you have to recognize that if you start treating your Instagram like it's your best friend, then everyone that's looking is going to think they're your best friend. And I know
Yeah.
in general, I have been real guilty of seeming so accessible. The stuff people would DM me or the questions they would ask, just so comfortable. And a lot of
Hmm.
times we don't want to take responsibility for that. Where do
Yeah.
you fall in line here? Where are you responsible? Oh, people always assume I'm busy. Okay, where did I play into that? Oh, because I wanted everyone to think I was Wonder Woman and I could do all these things and I'm always on the grind, grind, grind. But I got tired of that. And so, to the same point, I've been very private, or much more private, even with my bodybuilding. Like if you go to my YouTube, you can watch my videos, but it's not on my stories like that unless you're in close friends. It's not in my post. This is a very personal season for me. And when it comes to other people's stuff, like sometimes I feel guilty, but I be looking for the tea. And I mean, if you're going to leave the hot pot on the stove, I'm going to bring my mug. It just is what it is, and sometimes it's hard,
Listen.
especially watching our love bombers out there. It's no shade to y'all. You know who you are.
Hmm.
Tagging
We
your
love y'all
boo and
too.
everything. It don't even got
Hmm.
nothing to do with your boo. It'll be about cows in Walla Walla, Washington, and in the
A cup
small
of
corner,
coffee.
you got your boo tagged in it. So there,
But
like you said, I start
yeah,
to question, who is it for?
yeah,
Because to
yeah.
me, if it's about your partner, then you send it to your partner, and that's what you and your partner keep. You want to keep something for yourself. You have to keep something for
Hmm.
yourself.
Hmm.
And the confidence to me, the most confident relationships are the ones that are not as shown, that are a little bit less spoken of. And a lot of times they're 2 times, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times as strong. Because what I have also seen is when things don't work out, and now we're getting all these subliminal
Girl.
IG posts. Y'all start following all those woman scorn quotes, and y'all start putting those things up. And the gag is always the person you even want to see it doesn't see it. So everyone else is
That
now
part.
privy to your journey, and the person
Hmm.
you're trying to set someone else on fire. You're setting yourself on fire and expecting them to burn, and it never works out.
Exactly. And my whole thing when that happens, I'm like, okay, don't get me wrong. We all share quotes and whatnot. And I understand that just because you post something doesn't mean you're going through it. But after about quote number 7, I'm like, okay, we dealing with a situation here. And then
Mm-hmm.
it's like a trickle effect, right? Because, you start getting invested. Because now I'm on season 5, episode 7. Okay. So I'm following all these quotes. And then I'm starting to see you might have some posts disappear on your page. Now I'm starting to see,
Oh, that's the giveaway. That's the giveaway right there. You
you
start
start
being like, were
deleting
they
pics.
still?
Yep. All of a
They
sudden,
archived it though, just in case, so they
just
could
in
bring it
case,
back.
just in case, right?
That's the new
So then you
trick.
start seeing that it's a whole slow trickle effect, right? And I'm just kind of like, okay, well, how much of this, like, you could really, how can I say this? I think everyone should express themselves how they want to express themselves. There's no right or way to grieve someone. There's no right or wrong way to grieve a breakup. We've all been through it. It sucks. It hurts.
Mm-hmm.
But I do feel like there is a way that you can effectively communicate something that you want someone to hear or to see. And it's not to all your Instagram followers, because to your point, they're probably not even watching. Or if they are watching, they're watching through another account and you don't even know it's them that's watching.
And
So
you checking to see
you
who
checking
look.
all your story views throughout the whole day, trying to see, oh, they didn't watch my stuff. Well, let me go see. Let me see. Maybe I should just DM it to them. Maybe I should tag someone who's going to reshare it where they'll see. I mean, it's just it's almost like this the games, right? It becomes a whole
Yeah,
game in of itself.
yeah.
And yeah,
And then you're lessening that interpersonal growth because that means in any relationship, in any friendship, in any business partnership, at work, that's being passive aggressive. And for me, I need you to
Yeah.
be one or the other. I can't
Yeah.
have you be both. Either be passive and I'm like, I see what you're doing, or come at me, bro. But that in the middle
Yeah.
is not going to help you out in any situation. And,
Mm-mm.
even after 7 years, I'm still trying to find my flow of posting my relationship. And, Adam rarely posts right now. He's in a phase where he doesn't post much. So now it's almost like I'm trying to force him to post when that's not what he wants to do. And it doesn't change his love for me. It doesn't change. I know I'm secure in mine. I'm not worried about what people see or don't see. So I make sure we do like holidays, special occasions,
Mhm.
maybe a story here and there. Or if we want to curate something together, we will. But just because it's Tuesday, nah. At least for now,
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
fine with just having a flow to it, no exact date, floating, as we say. Our posts will
Mhm.
float. They'll come when they come, and then when they don't, we're still good.
Yeah,
You know.
definitely. So let me ask you this little off the cuff question, okay? Because
Oh,
I
I
have
love
been
it.
in a situation where I was dating someone, right? And we weren't always like we all had our identities, individuals, but I noticed when I would comment on any of his posts that had me in it, he would turn off all comments. So any post, yes, okay, that look,
What's
okay.
tea on
So
that?
yes, all right. So let's get into it. So let me know if you guys have ever experienced this before, because his position at the time clearly is the reason why he's an ex. Okay. But what he would tell me is that, I turned off all the comments on any post, about us because people hate on what they don't have. And I don't want to subject you to that. I'm like, yeah, but you also delete my comments as well. Like you would delete a
So
comment of me saying,
you're kind of
yeah,
validating the point.
yeah,
Yeah.
okay. Mm-hmm.
Well, first of all, that's why we have the block button. That's why we have the delete button. But
Facts.
that also doesn't give you a chance to be celebrated. And if you don't have enough people in your corner celebrating you on your post to drown out those other posts, then we have a bigger issue.
It
And
was
if
where
you
there's
got
smoke,
that
there's
many
fire.
haters on your post, we got a bigger issue too.
Much bigger issue. Like I
What
said.
else you posting that's bringing so much? I know my daddy always says you have formers, not exes. We don't date convicts. That's what my daddy says. So that's why they're a
Oh, I love
former.
that. You know
My
what?
my parents
I'm
will eat it up
still
with
in
the
that.
one-liners,
I
and it'll
am
be on
still
a
that is
t-shirt.
gonna I need to put that
I
on a
don't date
mug.
ex comments. My former. Yes. A donut
That's
mug.
gonna be on the mug.
Yes.
Yes. Yes, yes. Okay, I just had to pick your brain about it. I don't think I've ever shared that story before.
You sure
Um,
didn't. And I forget that I don't
no.
know your whole life. Like we
Oh,
literally
yeah.
didn't meet that long ago. So I'm like,
Hmm.
now I'm like, oh, offline. I'm like, which one was this again? If y'all don't know, we be calling people by name. So I'm like, which one is this again? I need to know. Let's see.
Everyone has a nickname. Yes.
When y'all get in on the inner
Okay.
circle, maybe you'll know. But until then,
Hmm.
but what about like platonic relationships as well? Because we did just
Ooh,
say relationships. We are talking
we
romantic, but
did.
to
Yes.
me, your friendships are the gateway to how you act in a relationship. So, how has it been for you? If you might have experienced both sides,
Hmm.
where when you see your friends shining, when you may not be at the highlight, ESPN highlight of your season,
Yeah.
and or when you on it popping, body's going, brain's going, you giving everything, and your friends are going through a time. What has been your experience on both sides?
Yeah. So on the front side of it, where everything is shining bright, I'm winning.
Quote
I have
unquote.
had friends. Yeah, I've had friends that were still able to be really supportive of me during that and be like, okay, you know what? I'm going through it. I know I'm having a moment, but I'm gonna still be here and celebrate you because I love you. I have
Love
had
it.
other friends that went ghost. And I've had some friends that have unfriended me because the
Mm,
the perception of winning made them feel uncomfortable. And then when I asked about it, I'm like, well, what changed? Because I'm still me. Like nothing's
right.
changed. But I think kind of some things can be triggering. And you're not always aware on what those things are. And it may not even have anything to do with their friendship, but could be the person and what they're going through. So
Right.
I
So
have
not
seen
even taking
that.
it personal sometimes.
Yeah, yeah. And I took it personal because I'm just like, what happened to my friend? What happened? Like we're good because social media is just social media. It's an outlet, right? What matters is the people in your life who you love and spend time with and grow and build with, because it's all just, social. On the flip side of that, when I have been in places where I've been low and I haven't been shining as bright and I see my friends that are winning, I'm still genuinely happy for them. But that also has a
Right.
lot to do with who I am as a person. Like I'm that person that's gonna still cheer you on, and I ain't got, and I'm struggling and going through it because that's how much I love to see the people who I really rock with thrive and win. Um,
Right. Well, that's
so
because
so
you're a
you,
champion. So champions
well,
can be losing games. They're still champions. And I think that's important. And that's why I've been so grateful for you. It's like no matter what we are going through, it doesn't
mhm,
matter who's at a high, who's at a low, who this just happened, that just happened. It's important to have those relationships around you. I can find sometimes for me when I'm at a high, people start coming around trying to um, get poured into from my
yeah,
cup. So if they
yeah,
see an accomplishment I had, suddenly people are kind of coming out the woodworks. I know that's going to be happening pretty soon. Folks that I haven't talked to in a while are going to be hitting me up more
mhm,
than usual. And, it's unfortunate because I always tell people like the people that you genuinely want to have a connection with, stay in connection, because when you just hit us up all of a sudden for an opportunity, like then you look opportunistic. So
yeah,
and then I've also dealt with where I was dimming my light because other people were going through things. And sometimes I was on my end or they were, kind of doing those passive jokes like, what can't you do? Like, oh, here she go. Here comes Aurelia again. And my thing is like, if you don't focus on your rainbow, look, Bessie
mhm.
ready to fight. She said, send me the
Listen,
IG name.
my whole
She
face
said,
just changed. I
she
don't play
said,
with
let me,
you.
I know. My friends don't play with me. But yeah, if you don't stay focused on your rainbow, you either never get to the gold or when you get
Mhm.
there, you call it silver and you diminish it. And I have seen that happen a lot. People are so focused on everyone else's rainbow that you finally get to yours, you get to the end and you look at the gold and you see it as pennies. And so, how can we, on both sides of the table, start to really evaluate and recognize that we're always winners? We're always champions. It doesn't matter what part of our stage we're in, because you're always going to have people out there that you consider doing better than you. And there's going to be people you consider doing worse than you. But what really matters is what are you doing? What's in your control? Are you happy? How can you be content? I had this conversation with a mentee this week. And I was like, sometimes the reason why God doesn't give you more is because you can't even be content with what you have. You're messaging me from an apartment. You know who's not complaining about X, Y, and Z? Someone who's sleeping on the street. You know who's not complaining about X, Y, and Z? Somebody who doesn't have a phone. You know who doesn't complain about traffic? Somebody standing at the bus stop. So a lot of
Mhm.
this too comes back to even in your romantic relationships, being confident in self and not relying on your relationship to validate or affirm your worth. To me, my relationship is the icing on the cake. It ain't the cake, baby. I am the cake.
Absolutely.
And Adam makes me better and Pepper makes me better. But I know who I am to my core without them. So a lot of
Mhm.
times too, people are just lost in their relationships and the lust of it and the passion of it, that when that part starts to dim, because we all know you can't be on the honeymoon phase forever. All those problems you keep trying to sweep under the rug, after you have that little makeup, you know what I'm talking about? They resurface. And
They're
how are
still
you going to
there.
handle those situations better than before?
Yeah. And I think to their point, the real flex is just being happy on your own, like being independently happy, no matter what the relationship status is, no matter what the
Mm-hmm.
IG, followers are, the likes are, no matter what, you think you don't have, like being happy on your own, because there are a lot of people who are chasing the social media highlight happiness, and that's not even stuff that makes them happy. They're just doing it because they
Yep.
feel like they should do it, or that has to be a shareable moment. And I think a lot of people get really lost in that, and they find themselves trying to achieve things that if they really ask themselves at the end of the day, do they care about? They don't. Not
And be
really.
mad that they got 8 likes.
Right.
But I'm gonna
And
shut up.
I've listen, and that's another part of it too. I think another piece that I've experienced on the platonic side is especially, and I want to ask you about this because you celebrate your friends a lot. You post them a lot in your stories. You know, we do the same thing as well. I've also had people who have felt some kind of way because they didn't feel like they were getting posted enough. So then I know for
Mm,
me, it became this whole thing like where I literally took a step back where I'm just like, well, I was like, I don't want to offend anyone by like posting you or posting someone else. And then, and then I start feeling like, okay, do I have to keep a tally of how many times I post this friend or this repost of that?
yeah.
And it just became this whole kind of thing. So I think it really stems from that validation piece of it, though, right? Because you in a relationship with someone, you love them, you rock with them and everything. It transcends beyond how many times you posted them in a story. But I feel like there's some people who are seeking that external validation, even throughout platforms that aren't even theirs. So that's another piece that I found with platonic relationships.
I love that question because I've actually been on both sides to that as well. I'm guilty.
Mm-hmm.
So on the one side, I have a friend. I have a lot of successful acting friends, a lot of successful friends, period. They're all a success. But I have a acting friend, and we all kind of came up together through the dance, through the acting world, and they blew up, right? Rightfully so. They went hard for it and they got it. And so I started to feel like they forgot about the little people. Of course, the only little people I'm referring to was me. And I would
Mm-hmm.
notice they would repost other celebrities posts and congratulate people on things, but wouldn't post any of mine. And that's how I saw it, as they scrolled past my post and didn't post my thing. And so what I
Mm-hmm.
had to really sit back and recognize was that I felt like I was not as important as the new people in their life, and that they had forgotten about me, and that I was forgettable, really, is what I was feeling.
Yeah.
And it was interesting because we ended up meeting up and they were telling me about someone else saying that to them. So it was interesting. I didn't bring it up. And they were saying how someone else had brought it up. And they were like, the crazy part is half of the time I don't see these things. I'm on there for 10 seconds and like whatever I see, I'm just posting. But I want people to know that no matter what, you can always call on me. Like I'm always going to have your back. And so she didn't even know she was speaking to me, but that was for me. And once I released this expectation of like, am I good enough for you anymore? um I started to also recognize maybe there are moments where I have showed up too much for people and I haven't given them the opportunity to do it back. I was too much of a yes woman. I was the person that people would say, oh yeah, call Aurelia, she'll do it. And my name is in the
Mm-hmm.
A's, you in the B's, so we're right at the top. And we've had this
Yes.
conversation about people hitting us up for stuff because they believe we're going to say yes, but that's a whole other topic for a whole other day.
Whole other day. Whole other day. Yeah.
But on the other side of it, I have had clients sometimes. If I post a client and say, like, when clients become friends, and they'll joke and say, like,
Mm-hmm.
well, I thought we were friends, and I have to sometimes be careful with that because not every client is going to become my friend.
Right.
I would hope so, but I'm not going to force it. Chemistry
Of
cannot
course.
be forced. It is what it is. So I've also had to be, really vigilant about what I say about clients because all my clients matter to me. They're important. What even former clients, my first client ever, Cody, I still talk to her. We talked last week. Like if she posts something and I see it and I want to celebrate her, I'm going to post it. So I do my best if I see something in that 3 minutes I'm scrolling, because I do my best not to scroll, I will repost
Mm-hmm.
it. But if people are taking it personally, then that means there's something going on personally where you feel
Yeah.
like what's that post going to do for me? Is someone going to come on my like, is it about me, about knowing that you recognize me? Is it about me getting more followers to my page? Like what is the really deep seated issue that we're not addressing?
Mm-hmm. In that point. And I think that's the big question that I have learned to kind of ask myself. Because at first I would take it personal and it'd be like, oh, what am I doing wrong? But I'm like, okay, is there opportunity, one, for me to do better? But two, what's also the bigger issue at play here? So,
Right. So what do you think are
mhm.
some of the things people can do to, like, what are your feelings on Like, should people be more intentional? Like, what's like one thing you think people should be doing now, in terms of their romantic and in terms of their platonic friendships when it comes to social media?
Yeah, I would just say keep it real, in the sense of, if there's something that you feel that's on your heart to want to say, to want to share, do it. You know what I mean? But do it only because it's what's on your heart to do in the moment, not because you feel obligated, not because you
Yes.
feel like people are going to think lesser of my relationship or my fill in the blank with whatever type of relationship it is if I don't do this. Right. I think it's, make sure you're doing it for the right reasons. And then if you are going to share, and you do have like an account that you use for your business, is to make sure that there's a good mix of stuff, right? So that way people are all coming into you and they're coming on to your, seeing your content, and they're not just like, okay, well, there's no value that I get from this person from a business sense, because everything's about their relationship, right? So I think it's
Mm,
also still having that good mix of content if you are going to share that kind of personal side of you and you have a business at the same time.
absolutely. And I would say the one thing is, especially if you're experiencing this, is right before you hit share, ask why. Why am
Mhm.
I posting this? Whether it's your story, whether it's on your page, whether it's a highlight, whether it's on TikTok. And it could be, I think this is funny. I think other people will think this is funny. Post it. I want to piss this person off. Even if you post it, at least be real with yourself. Be real
Mhm.
for us, but more importantly, be real for yourself. I'm
Own it.
posting this because I hope they see it and I hope that it ruins their day. More than likely it won't.
Mhm.
If
It
y'all
won't.
watching Love is Blind, you will see very differently how we act and respond to things. It ain't that deep for them. It ain't that deep.
Mm-mm, definitely
It's pretty
not.
on the surface. So, and to me, really, it's also being about consistency. If the most consistent thing about you is the inconsistency of your relationship, that's a problem that needs to be addressed. And the only way I'll know that is because you keep posting it and I'm sitting like I'm in the movie theater in Thriller, Michael Jackson, with the popcorn. Because I'm a
Mhm.
look, you post it, I'm a look. And sometimes I'm a search,
Yeah.
and sometimes it ain't that hard.
It's really not hard to find anything out now. We're also
Nope.
connected. Yes.
And think too,
Yes.
like, so much content is being pumped out constantly. So why?
Mhm.
Why am I posting this?
Mhm.
Am I looking for is it clout chasing? Am I trying to get more followers? Am I what is your just what and it doesn't have to be anything deep, but it has to be honest.
I'm just going to say it. I think some people need to be in therapy instead of being on social media. I'm just going to say it because I have seen a
She
lot of
said it.
hurt people say a lot of stuff. And I'm just like, this is a great discussion to have with your therapist. I hope you get the healing that you need, because you can see the pain behind some of people's content. You know what I mean? So I
Yep.
say it from that place of wanting them to heal and grow, right? Not from like
It's a shove with love.
it's,
It's a shove with
yeah, yeah,
love.
yeah. Yeah. It's
And
never a
even
judgment
couples
kind of thing.
counseling. We
Oh,
did
yeah.
premarital counseling. I'd never done therapy before. And the first thing we did was marriage counseling. I didn't know what
Mm.
to expect. It was not easy. There were times where literally like the last 5 minutes, they hang up 5 minutes early. And of course, both of us are just open. And I'm literally thinking, like, please don't leave me with him. Please. Like, no. But these were the tough conversations that needed to be had. Otherwise, we're going to be in the same cycles. And now your bestie got to sit there and listen to you talk about the situation again. And
On
if your
repeat.
besties are real, they're going to be like, I'm tired of be like, friend, we done
My
did this twice
friend.
already. So if we're gonna do this third time, what we gonna do different? As opposed to
Mhm.
a lot of us too, and I'm not excusing it, but I'm explaining. A lot of us also have people around us that are either doing the same thing or are yes manning us and are gonna have our backs. To me, a safe space is an honest space. It's not just where I celebrate and support everything that you're doing, because some of the things you're doing are janky. Some things may
Yeah,
be a little ghetto. And if you
and
can't
it's not
see it
okay.
because you're inside the frame and I'm on the outside in in our bestie museum, I need to, you know, pull at your coattail a little bit and say, hey, friend, you think about doing this, friend? And if you really have that kind of relationship with people, they should be able. There's a lot of people out here that have people in their lives that are not being honest with them, that are afraid to be honest with them because they look up to them or they respect them so much. But if you really respect somebody, then you have to be honest, as long as it's, like you said, coming from a loving place.
Yeah, and it's not what you say, it's how you say it, right? So that's where tact comes in, and that's where you say it from. You don't let the message be lost in the delivery. I think that's what I'm trying to say. Okay.
She nailed it
So
right
much is
there. I ain't got
lost
nothing else to say to that.
in translation.
That was good.
It was. So should we get into a Q&A that we got?
That's good. Yes.
Okay. So one of the questions that came in, because, we're talking all about social media and relationships, is how soon is too soon to post your boo on social media?
So, I like something that you did. And I mean, I've been out the game for a minute, right? So our situation was a little different. I'll start there. Adam and I was friend zoning him. He ain't watching this, even though he did just follow us on Instagram, and you should too.
I saw that.
At Femme Fit Entrepreneur. Did you see that?
I did. I saw his name pop up, and I was like, "Look at her! Look at him supporting his boo." Yeah,
and that's what I like, is that when he does stuff like that, it's intentional, like make you feel good, right? He's not just doing it out of autopilot. But anyway, the first 6 months I have friend zoned him. For those that don't know, we met doing extra work, $100 cash. Okay, I was trying to get that money, and we were friends for 6 months. I friend zoned him. He drove all the way to New York with me so I could pursue Broadway. I still friend zoned him. He disappeared, put up on Snapchat that he got a car, did not tell me first, and then I realized that I liked him or whatever. So we ended up dating, and then we were long distance, so there really was nothing to post. And by then, all my friends already knew he was going to be the one anyway. I was just a boo-boo the fool. But when we first started, I feel like when we like made it official, I feel like I just jumped right in, post on post on post. But something that I like is you start subtle, right? You're out at dinner. It don't have to be the picture of the other person. It's just you, like a little boomerang moment. Obviously, somebody else is taking it.
You can see an arm subtle. Or something.
You can and then the next post, you see a little arm, or you see legs walking, you see a hand hold. Like, there's ways to ease into it. I don't think there's a moment where it's necessarily, if there's like a too soon, like second date, third date, or anything like that. But I think it's a conversation. Do we feel comfortable? Are we at a place now where if anybody in the world, right? Because unless you have a private page, everybody in the world, all your formers, all your ex-convicts, everybody, your old boss, your crazy baby mama, like everybody's going to see this. Are we comfortable really establishing this? Now, some people like to do it while they're dating. I'm more of a let's make it official, and then we start to slide in. But I think it's when you both decide that you're comfortable with the world knowing that somebody is now on a higher priority level in your life.
Yes, I would agree with that. When I have done it, kind of like to your point, I'm very subtle with it. And I like to kind of wait to see, okay, is this going to get to a place where I feel like we're going to both be wanting to share each other to the world,
Right.
And I don't think there's a certain like time frame, but I think there definitely is a feeling that you have when it comes to a person, and a security that you have in what you're building towards and what you're growing. And I don't think there's like a first date, second date, or 3-month kind of rule on that. I think it really just depends on the relationship that you're in. Because granted, I have seen some people, new boo, and it's like changing out pair of shoes like every other week. I'm like,
I was just about to say that.
Like, you changing out these boos like shoes, babe. And that's totally fine. But I think for me, I value more consistency and stability. So it has to be going to a certain place for me to feel like, okay, I'm comfortable starting to share this person. And then once we are fully fledged official, then I'll be more likely and more open to want to actually share. Yeah.
I love that.
So let us know in the comments.
Yes.
When did you start sharing your person? And then if you're dating or if you're married, if you can remember
Mm-hmm.
back when you first did it, let us know. We want to hear from you guys. So
Yes. And we want to
definitely
hear
chime in.
about your experiences with being on both sides of the table in
Mm-hmm.
romantic and platonic relationships and how you've handled that. So if you don't know, we do Tap In Tuesdays on our Instagram where we ask questions. We talk about self-care, we talk about books, we talk about music you like to listen to. So we'd love to know, because this will probably be one of our Tap In Tuesdays, is like social
Definitely.
media and dating. Like, what is your take on that? So drop the comments below, but also, and a review. Come on, Spotify, Apple, come on, give us that review. But also
Yeah.
join us in our community on Instagram. Should we give a little challenge before we head out?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do. You want to start with yours?
Yeah, I'm gonna do mine.
Okay.
So first thing is to celebrate yourself this week, big or small. I believe if you don't celebrate the small wins, you'll never celebrate the big ones the way you need to. And you may not recognize this, but our brains are programmed to normalize things. So let's say you get $1,000. It's like, oh my God, I got $1,000. Yes. But in about a week, it's like, oh yeah, I got $1,000. Great. Our brains are just programmed to normalize things. So everything isn't always sitting in the front of our minds. So when the moment happens, like I had a really great audition. I felt 150% myself. I had a really great callback. I felt 200% myself. I don't know what we'll make of it, but I celebrated that anyway. So my first challenge is to celebrate yourself this week, big or small. And my second one is actually something that I'm doing, and you are more than welcome to join in. One of my words for this year is minimalism. And I'm doing a fashion challenge. I didn't tell you about this because I decided last night.
Okay, let's hear about
I
it.
have a lot of clothes, y'all. I'm creating 4 collections right now. I got the cream collection, the color collection, the classic collection, and the coochie collection. Don't worry about that. And I want to go 3 weeks without repeating any outfits, pants included, underclothes not included. I ain't got 21 bras. Okay. I got enough drawers when I ain't got enough bras, but, and maybe sports bras, but even in my workout clothes, 21 looks. So I started today. This look that y'all are looking at was day 1. I have 2 outfits today. It's going to be a little tricky with workout clothes because I go to the gym twice a day. So we'll see if I got 42 looks. I don't know. But I have all these clothes and I'm recognizing I have bins and I'm not wearing them. And so I want to push myself. I already last night was like, what do I do with this dress? Oh, I could put a turtleneck underneath because it's a little cold right now. My brain started to think. And then now I can get rid of, and this is a metaphor for life, the dead weight in my closet that is just sitting there so that I feel comfortable with the amount of things I have surrounding me. I don't want to be comforted by things. I want the quality of the things I have around me to affirm me and support me. So if you're down,
I love
slide up in
that.
our DMs, write a comment below. You can take a picture of your outfits, tag us in it.
Mhm.
And yeah, we'll see how much clothes I get rid of by the end of the 21 days. I'm trying to get to 30, but I put 21. So, I undersell a little bit, over deliver.
You're gonna hit 30. We know it.
I know. I'm gonna
I
try to hit
love that
25.
idea. I love that idea. Okay, cool. And my challenge to you guys this week is to give yourself some grace when your body needs it. I think we tend to try and push ourselves so much to achieve so many things. I know we got a lot of
Mhm.
type A listeners out here who are tuning in, watching us the whole 9. I guarantee you that taking that time to just give your body the rest that it needs, the recovery that it needs,
Yep.
not only just physically, but mentally and emotionally, you're going to be so much better for it. And you're going to go further faster when you do get back to your normal. So just give yourself some grace and be easy.
I love that because listen, if you don't slow down, it will slow you down.
Oh, yeah.
And
Your body
so
will decide,
BS,
okay, she's
bro.
done.
Yep.
Hmm.
Yep.
Yes.
I love it.
Well, thank y'all so much for tuning in to another episode of the Femme Fit Entrepreneurs. Please comment down below any topic you want us to cover. It's nothing is off limits. Check us out on Instagram. We're going to post our handles so you can follow us all individually too. And until the next episode,
Yes.
y'all.
Peace.
Bye.